Hey there, folks. Pookie07 here, and I thought I'd do something a little different. And I'd like to show you exactly how I do my programs. Well, see, as you can see here, if you can see this is my whole inventory right here. See, right there. See, right there. So anyway, yeah, believe it or not, yeah, this is my desktop. Like what I done to it? Yeah, I told you. Shotaro Shinomori is one of my figures for is one of my figures I look up to for being a writer. So of course I use his un his unfinished masterpiece Cyborg 009 as my as my as my desktop picture. All right. So first off, as you can see, I have plenty of emulators I use. Now I'm gonna show you step by step which ones I use the most. I use for most of my Nintendo runs, I use JNES, and if I were to and I use JNES. But for others, I will use this one which says NES All Arounds, and I'll show you why. Because sometimes JSNES can't pick up certain games. So I have three NES emulators, rather good. But these are two I use for the the ones that can't be reached. Like for instance, that's how I used to play SD Splatterhouse just a few minutes ago. I use for the older mod. I can't speak. For the older model games or the games that couldn't work on JSNES, I use FC FCE Ultra, and yeah, I have my controller configured and everything. Or I will use 3N Nestor, 3N Nestor J. I'll just say it like that, 3N Nestor J. So with those two, that's what I use for the older type of model, the older type of games that I couldn't normally play on JSNES. Now, for my Super Nintendo games, what I usually use are I use ZSNES, like so, and I use JSNES to do Cyborg 009, and I also use, if I could pull this up, most of what I most for this is what I'm using for Sailor Moon and Our Story. But anyway, I'm using Super Nintendo 9X uh, for my for my I'm using JSNES for my Sailor Moon and Our Story run, and pretty much all other runs concerning that. Aside from that, I use either ZSNES or SNEX 9X just for my Super Nintendo games. And if anyone wants a Tecmo Bowl run, I will gladly do a Tecmo Bowl run for you. Just say the teams, I'll do it. Okay, now for my Sega runs, for my Sega games, I use Fusion. And I have Fusion, which is Kega Fusion. I use Kega Fusion. Well, I use Fusion, or I use Gens. Now let me show you the other ones. This one is my other MUs are, of course, Fusion and Gens. So I use use gen. I rarely use gens, but for the games that I couldn't use from Fusion, that's what I use. I use Kega. I use Kega Fusion and gens. So that's what I usually use, just for that. All right. So another thing I need to show you, which I think you'll pretty much see a run of some of the games I'll be using, but I also have Visual Boy Advance. Of course, this is Visual Boy, which is a Game Boy emulator. The the well-known Game Boy Advance emulator ever known. Next to Desmu and No Cash GBA. I tried No Cash GBA. It works for some games, doesn't work really for all games. But I digress. It's a decent system, but pretty much I'll try Desmu if I ever do a DS run, which you will see in the far future. So, mind you, I am the underdog of the underrated, but that doesn't mean that I won't do modern games as well. So, I'm only going through the old games that haven't been seen. So therefore, more nostalgia for you to love, because we all need a little nostalgia in our life. Okay, another thing. I've shown you my Super Nintendo, my Nintendo, my Genesis, aka my Genesis 3 in 1 system. But I haven't shown you this. Ha ha ha. Magic Engine. This is what I use to play TurboGrafx 16 games. And this is what I have so far. I have Devil's Crush. It's a pinball game. Blazing Lasers, Daytona Twinbee. I'll eventually do a quick play of that soon. Bonk's Adventure, Final Soldier, Crater Maze, Doraemon Mikyu Dai Sakusen, which is Crater Maze. The original version of Crater Maze is Doraemon. Soldier Blade, Bonk's Revenge, and Bonk's Big Adventure. That's all I have for now. Now there are other games, but I plan to get more in time if they're available for downloadable use. And that's there's another one. Now this I use for my arcade. I use MAME32B for my arcade runs. Now I have to say, when I'm doing my arcade runs, they run a bit slow, but that's why they go. There's a reason why. A reason why is because of my screen recorder. My screen recorder is ZD Soft. I pay $40 for the full version. You know what? I'd rather pay something for that much time. For that much money, than pay like $200 for it, like something like that, or do a trial, which kind of like it doesn't work for me. Because I've tried Camtasia, I've tried Hypercam, and I even tried Webnaria. So within those three, I found that this to me kind of helps me, because I can also, pull out my screen recorder when I need to, and bam. But anyway, yeah, you saw my name. Yeah, that's my name. That's me. See, that's me. Anyway, let me see what else is there. I say I did JNES, not my screen recorder. So with that, yeah, that's pretty much what I use for my recordings. Now, some of you have different kind of recorders that you use for your games, and like I said, from what I use, that's what I use to make my games. So anyway, this has been a quick but short run of what I use when I'm making my games. So with that, I don't think I have anything more to say. Being Pookie Izzy 7, the underdog of the underrated. with that, folks,